She's at a place in her life where peace is a priority and negativity cannot exist. She's no longer matching energy. She's simply removing herself from any situation that doesn't vibrate her soul. So if you start moving funny, she's moving on.
What's up, my Fina love? Sisters Fina D coming to you all from Fina Team News. So in my review that I posted yesterday on everything I felt about last week's episode, I said that something seemed a little off on social media when it came to Drew, that even though Kenya Moore supported her and defended her and she was appreciative, I noticed a shift. And so on Watch What Happens Live, when Andy asked her the question about Kenya supporting her and standing up for her, she was very positive. She wasn't shady at all. But then when someone from the audience asked this question right here, and of course you already know Andy Cohen have Kenya Moore name in the title, so you can't miss it. Just go to the Watch What Happens Live YouTube channel and type in Drew Sidora, and you will see the short clips from her interview. It's the after show. At the very end of the after show, do you agree with Kenya that there are similarities with the way how Mark treated her and how Ralph treats you? Drew responded, I felt like Kenya was projecting a little, which Kenya did admit. And without anyone saying anything to her, she acknowledged, how hard she was on Ralph, even though he deserved it. It didn't take Drew to say anything. No one pulled Kenya aside. She acknowledged it and she apologized without anyone saying anything. And that's the difference. Other people, you have to beg them for apology. Other people have to call them out. Like, for example, the Drew and Sheree situation, which I'm going to discuss in my review. It took all of the girls at the table, even her so-called friend Sonia, which I'm going to get into, to make her see and understand why she was wrong. Kenya did not need all of that, okay? She apologized to Ralph. So Drew continues that she felt like Kenya was projecting a little. Then she said that Mark and her husband Ralph are both from the East Coast, so there are similarities there. And then she said, but at the end of the day, my husband stayed. And that's the difference. So then Andy Cohen made his, shade noise. You know what people do when someone says something that's shady. And then Drew starts to play dumb. Exactly what Kenya Moore said. Oh my God, that wasn't shade. I didn't say, that wasn't shade. And Andy was like, basically giving her the, yes, it was. And then Andy said, but maybe she left. Then Drew gets quiet a little bit. He said, maybe she left. You are making it sound like he left her. Maybe she left. I was just like, Chad, when and if Andy Cohen is defending Kenya Moore of all people, that's when you know you're messed up. That's when you know he must really not be here for you, because every opportunity he gets to be a part of the dragging or reading or disrespecting Kenya Moore, Andy Cohen starts salivating because he celebrates moments like that. So for him to be like, maybe she left, I was like, yeah, Drew girl, good luck with your peach, okay? But like I said, they love drama. So depending on how she performed, and not just the same recycled my husband and I are going through with storyline, then she will come back. And that's the problem with Drew and the rest of them, the people that she called friends. They could be dating or married to the bottom of the barrel, but the fact that they have a ring on their finger, to them, that places them on a pedestal. I mean, a woman who got fired for lying was sitting on a stage with a convicted felon. Not saying that people can't change their lives, but you had your children with a convicted felon, and she was on a pedestal because she had a man sitting next to her as if that was some type of an accomplishment. Like I said, people change their lives. I'm not putting people who's been through that down, but she was acting like the man who was cheating on her with somebody else, because all of this came out. News came out that he was cheating on Phaedra with other women, going to strip clubs, all of that. You all heard that. She was wasting her time coming after the wrong woman who she and her husband lied on, when he was actually going out there cheating on her. I'm going to say allegedly, but if you watched the show, you heard all of it. Okay? But she sat on there and behaving like he was a prize, all because she had a ring. Children are always a blessing, and they are off limits. The only reason why I threw the she had her kids by a convicted felon in there is because most of you remember the rehearsed read that people call iconic. Phaedra actually sat there and read herself. And I'll tell you this right now. Bravo, Annie Cohen, all of them, because at that time and even now, they don't like Kenya, but things are changing a little bit. But at that time, them not liking Kenya Moore was at an all-time high. So all of Kenya Moore's responses were removed, and they made it look like she just sat there and listened to that woman the entire time without interrupting. No, Kenya did stand up for herself, but they wanted Phaedra to have that moment. But Phaedra actually sat there on that stage and read herself because of the person she was sitting next to. But she thought she did something because a man was sitting next to her. That's what I'm trying to say. And also because that's who Phaedra insinuated that Kenya would have her kids with. There's no way, knowing how Kenya Moore is quick on her feet, would have heard Phaedra say those things and not fire right back with, you're actually describing your life. Look at who you're sitting next to. Absolutely not, okay? And that's the reason why, too, in the end, you saw Kenya just basically roll her eyes and flipped her hair, because it was like, girl, you just sat here talking about yourself. And we all know that Kenya now have a durable Brooklyn, and not with the type of man Phaedra claimed she was going to have him with. The same way how Phaedra Park's marriage didn't work, Kenya Moore's marriage didn't work. So she had absolutely no room to talk. But thank God for a durable, happy baby, smart Brooklyn. So that's the reason why I even mentioned that. Not coming for the kids, they will always be off limits. You always have to clean these things up, because we live in a day and age where people take something you say and run with it. And so I had to make sure I clarified. So Drew saying, my man stayed and hers didn't. Don't talk to me. We're not the same. You're not on my level, because at least I got a man and you don't. And even though she tried to clean it up and pretended like it wasn't shade, it came off that way. And then she was like, well, the facts are facts. But Annie Cohen was saying, you can't call that facts if you don't know if he was willing to stay. And Kenya was the one who put her foot down, saying, I'm no longer going to go through this roller coaster, emotional, abusive relationship, emotional abuse, okay? A relationship, I'm leaving. Because if you remember, one moment Mark will file paperwork, and then the next moment they're going on family vacation together. You know, he wants to work it out. Don't leave me. And then the moment things doesn't go his way, next thing you know, he's releasing the statement in the press. And Kenya got sick and tired of that emotional roller coaster, and she chose to take herself off the emotional roller coaster. So if she was willing to stay on the emotional roller coaster like you, Drew, then she will still be with her husband. But she chose to take herself off that emotional roller coaster. She chose herself. She chose Brooklyn, and she's doing good and she's happy. So here goes Drew. Okay, if you do believe some parts of her story, it doesn't matter how disrespectful Ralph is to her. It doesn't matter that he's being unfaithful allegedly. The fact that he stayed and she still have a ring on her finger, to her, that's a prize, and she accomplished something. No, I will applaud any woman that is strong enough to walk away from a situation like that. Okay? If you stay and you want to work it out, good for you. That's your choice. But I'm here for people putting their foot down and saying, you know what? I'm no longer going to take the disrespect. and moving on, especially if the other party is not willing to put in the work. Now, after Andy Cohen checked Drew, she did say, well, it takes two people to want to work at it, okay? And Andy was like, okay, girl, whatever. Kenya Moore said the same thing when she was on Watch What Happens Live. She was very kind and nice to Drew. She said that she did applaud Drew and her husband for them at least putting in the work to make their marriage work, okay? Like, for example, Mark Daly didn't answer the phone for marriage counseling. At least Ralph is willing to go to marriage counseling. So Kenya did applaud that. Drew is now online saying whatever she said on the show was just fun shade and everything else was just fun shade. She's not shading Kenya. She's online. She's on Twitter and everywhere else. Basically, I don't want no problems with Kenya Moore, okay? Kenya girl, we're good. That's basically what she's doing. So nothing to see here. Most of you wanted me to cover the story. If Drew goes after Kenya Moore again, what's new? No shocker. Okay, but I mean, she's just taking the play out of her bestie, book. When in doubt, go after Kenya Moore. Didn't Portia do this already? Befriended Kenya Moore, everything was going great, and out of nowhere, realized that being Kenya Moore friend is not working for me. Now let me go ahead, be the worst Kenya Moore, and that always works for me. So if Drew does that, we see through people like Drew, and that's why Kenya didn't have any problems giving her another chance. Prove yourself. And then if you stab me in the back again, then all you're doing is embarrassing yourself and not me. The entire Watch What Happens Live, from Andy facial expressions to the questions to his reactions, you can tell that he is so over Drew, and it's not for the same reasons that he's not here for Kenya Moore. He's over Drew because he can see that Drew lies too much and she's not being authentic. He can see the desperation for the peach. He's aware that Drew and her husband signed a 2-season contract, so there's no way they could have let her go, so she's back for a second season. But he can tell that they are lying. Yes, they do have issues in their marriage, but majority of the other things he can tell and smell the storylines, and he just want her to be real. And I think Drew is slowly going back to, okay, this whole being cool with Kenya Moore thing, it's probably not going to work out for me. So I'm going to possibly try to do little things here and there so Kenya and I can go back in that bad place, like I previously stated. And he also made a statement about Drew saying Mark and her husband's similarities is that the fact that they're from the East Coast and they are more blunt. And he basically says, so are you saying, all men or everybody from the East Coast, like they be, doing the whole gaslighting and all of that? And she was like, I didn't even know what it meant. I mean, you've seen the episode. I'm not going to drag this video any longer. That's all I have to say about it. Same old, different day. But she said that she's cool. It's no shade of beef towards Kenya. Even though she was responding to something else, she wanted to make that clear that she have no issues with Kenya Moore and she doesn't want any problems with Kenya. I will talk more about what she was referring to when I post my review video. I'm wishing all of you well and take care. And here my final loves. Thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn on notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.